facilities in our college. But hearing the speakers who have come over here, I thought I should not speak at all because they have a lot to say. You should hear their stories. But however, I am happy to say that one of our startup by one of our ME student they have got an award of 25 lakhs from government and is being currently incubated in our college. This project is an extension of their ME project and was being mentored throughout, and they participated in Swadeshi Microprocessor Challenge, and we got a grant of 25 lakhs. So after getting the grant, now the work begins to make that complete product. And because with only MVP, minimum viable product, they want. So now they are starting their work. I think some of you are working with them as interns in the startup. So this is one good news, and all the other good news will be given by the participants because they have a lot to say. It is very inspiring to hear from them. However, whatever policy which the college has, we have displayed in our website. How many of you have gone through our website? Innovation and startup policy is given in the website. How many of you have gone through? How many of you have seen college website after admission? During admission, everybody would have gone through. So then, please go and check up this policies in the college. We have another scheme also, exclusive scholar program. So if any of you have got an idea and would like to work without actually registering as a startup also, please approach us. And if any of you have actually ideas and started working on it, also please register with us. We can handhold you on both the cases. Please give a formal application with your team members. It will go through an evaluation committee and we will decide the course of action. All of you must have seen our VES incubation center, which is coming up near the hostel and pharmacy building, pharmacy college building. There is a VES incubation center is going to come. So probably, I think you should be the students who will be first using the facility because the building has reached only 3rd floor. We probably will be, second year students will get an opportunity to work over there, right? Even after you graduate, if you have any such venture and you need any help from the college, please feel free to approach us. With that, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much.
Now Mr. Krishik Rao will give a small presentation about Indian startup ecosystem.
Thank you, Vedant. Okay, so let me start with a small story. A very long time ago, a very great man said that if I have seen further than others, it is because I am standing on the shoulders of giants. So any guesses on who this was or the context of this beautiful statement? Yes, exactly, it was Newton. And so take a moment to reflect. Here is a man we consider as one of the founders of modern physics. As one of the founders of modern physics, and yet, by his own admission, his ideas were backed by his surroundings and earlier foundations. This is just one example. History is filled with such examples where people were there at the right time, at the right place, and they did extraordinary things. So that is today's theme, that we will see how our perspective on startup changes. So let's start on a national level, and then slowly let's go through our friends and family, and finally on what you could do to start an initiative of your own. So, to begin, with, Mike. Okay. So, Shantanu, next slide. Hello. On. Hello. Okay. So to begin with, what is a startup ecosystem? We can come up with a very technical definition of a complex system of interdependent entities. But what it essentially boils down to is how good your support system is. How good the support system is for your startups. And this we can understand by answering a few questions. First question is, are there education programs about it? Are there funding providers? Does the nation have enough incubators? Do we have role models to look up to? Do we have mentors we can consult? Do we have big corporations that will collaborate with these startups? Does the nation's media recognize and encourage its startups? And most importantly, do we have supportive government policies and agencies? And we as Indians, with great pride, we can say yes, yes to all of them. Now, let me back that up with data. Okay, so as you can see, right now, India is the third largest startup ecosystem. We have more than 85,000 startups, of which 57,000 are recognized by DPIIT. We have around 108 unicorn startups, which have a combined valuation of $450 billion. Now, guys, these are insane figures if you consider what the amount of short time it took. Why do you think that is? What changed or what enabled such progress? The answer is better government policies and better awareness. So let's explore a few of these government policies. First off, we have Startup India Initiative. This is the flagship program by the Indian government, and it has proven to be a game changer in the startups landscape. It has three core features. First, simplification and handholding. Now, what do you mean by that? Simplification and handholding is they offer you legal support, they answer your queries, there is a fast tracking of patent applications, and most importantly, you have a better exit process if you have a failed startup. So that's one of the most important things this policy came. Second, we have funding and incentives. Now, we have great interest here. There is a heavy tax exemption for up to 3 years, and almost 10,000 crores are to be infused in innovative startups. That is 1,000 crores per year. And finally, we have incubation and academia partnership. So these include your incubators, grants, competitions, events, etc. Now, if you look at this 3 points, you will realize that it covers all aspects of a startup life cycle. So if you need help with any part, there is a strong chance that the policy or grant already exists. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We have more than 120 schemes and policies. So obviously we can't go to a very detailed examination of all of these, but let's brush through the top ones. So we have portals like Mark, which will provide you mentorship and guidance. We have policies like Prism, which will give you up to 50 lakhs for developing prototypes. We have agencies like MSMEs. Now, MSMEs have been extremely effective in small businesses. If you register as an MSME, you get a lot of benefits, which can fast track your success. Along with all of these, we have 68 incubation centers. So just imagine this. There are 68 places around India where you can just check in, and they will give you a workspace. You can ask for help. You can get seed funding. You can get mentorship, and so much more. and a very beautiful outcome of the whole startup revolution is that there is a growing awareness among people. Earlier, we were discouraged to go for startups, but that has been changing. For example, did you know that around 20 million people watch Shark Tank and similar startup-related series? And finally, potential self-reliance. Nowadays, we have green energy, agricultural, as well as tech startups which have the potential to make India self-reliant. And that is probably the biggest benefit that we can look forward to. And look at that chart. From 2005 to 2012, we evolved from 3,500 startups to almost 58,000. That's a huge progress. And that's just to show that we are evolving. So finally, if all of this interests you, you can run an analysis on the trajectories of all the different countries. And you will realize that the progress we have made is incredible. But in the end, these are just numbers, facts and figures that are going to seem distant to you, remote to you. So our idea here today is that we are going to invite people, your very own people, your alumni and friends who have gone through this process so that you can relate more to that. So to conclude, the Indian startup ecosystem right now is thriving, it's bubbling, it's booming, and the only time to be a game changer is right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishik. Now we will go for the panel discussion by our guests. Please acknowledge their presence. Mr. Vijay Talreja, Senior Vice President, Apexon, co-founder and director. Of Adaptee, co-founder and advisor, Binox, member Board of Trustees, Vesit, lead investor, Neve Angels. Mr. Prateek Gupta, CEO of Technolite, founder and CEO, Alax Opto LED Lights. Mr. Rahul Shankar Juriani, full-time executive director, Shell Fire India, the Lil Flea non-executive partner. Mr. Shiv Kumar Krishnamurthy, partner, Rivolo Infotech. Mr. Minhaj Sheikh, co-founder and CEO, Friends Campus.
There is a bit of confusion, so I'd like to one more time introduce our guests. I'm taking my privilege of being head here, sorry. Okay, so we are having with us Mr. Vijay Talreja. He is not only our trustee, he is a senior VP Apexon, co-founder and director Adaptee, co-founder and advisor of Binox. He is member of trust for Vesit, as well as he's our lead investor, so we are looking forward, right? Next, we have Mr. Prateek Gupta. I need not be telling that we are looking at alumni, all of them. So 5 of them are Vesit alumnus. We on purpose have called in so that you connect, and I'm pretty sure you'll connect a lot. So be here till the end, and again, for rest of the formalities, you need to be there till the end. Okay, we have Rahul, Mr. Rahul Shankar Juriani. He is a full-time executive director at Shell Fire India, and he's also non-executive partner at the Lil Flea. We also have Shiv Kumar Krishnamurthy. He is partner at Revolvo Infotech. That's an IT company, a giant one, we'd come to know. And we also have Minhaj Sheikh, who's co-founder and CEO at Friends Campus. It's a beautiful thing which is in trial. I'm pretty sure you would learn more about it and appreciate. Thank you. So we'll start with this panel discussion. Thank you so much.
Morning, everyone. So, you know, the last bit that he said, the formality is pending through the day, I learned that you have to give your attendance. So, anyways, jokes apart, but I think that I'm very glad to be here with this esteemed panel of entrepreneurs. And clearly, I think the wealth of experience that this team has today in entrepreneurship, I think this is something that you should really look forward to learning from. And when Amit sir had reached out to me saying that can you be part of the panel, I was actually thinking, what is it that you want to hear from us? Do you have any thoughts in your head when you were coming for this session? Do you have any questions in your mind that you want to ask or learn from us, or really does it help you to learn from this team of entrepreneurship, and what way do you think it will help? And if I have to really ask you one question, tell me how many of you are really looking forward to starting on your own? Wow. That really deserves a round applause. Big round of applause. Amazing. Frankly, when I had to be very honest, when I was graduating from here in 95, I think if I had asked the same question, I don't think the number of hands that went up was even 1% of that, Because, it's not that we didn't want it to start up, but the whole startup ecosystem didn't exist at that time. It was very fragile, I would say, at that time. And it has taken long and very long years, but a lot of effort by some very seasoned entrepreneurs, VC funds, angel investors to really build this ecosystem today. So I think you should consider yourself lucky to have this ecosystem in place, and it is thriving. As Madam was saying today, you also have the opportunity to be part of the VS Incubation Center, which is coming up. We never had something like this. So we were literally sort of trying to figure out, And believe me, this is something that you will also have to do. So with that, I will start the discussion. I have a few points that I will, ask everyone. But just to give you a little background on me, and I'll start with my introduction, and then I'll request everyone to do so. So as I was introduced, I'm also on the board of the trust here. I've been a student from like KG to engineering here. So literally, so don't ask me which year I started and which year I ended, okay? But then, I kept coming back to VS. I mean, VS is like my second home. And, I kept, in whatever way and form, to contribute back to the society and also help, do some good work here. And I think it was obviously to oblige the effort that I was done. I was asked to come on the board. Vesit, of course, is very close to my heart. Madam knows this very well, and whenever it comes to giving my time and attention, it is first comes Vesit, and then any other institution in VS. So I'm very happy, very privileged to be part of the board. I have been able to make some difference, and this incubation center that you know today is also something that I had floated as an idea in 2014. If you search on the internet, you will actually find a news somewhere where we had actually announced in 2014, someday we will start an incubation. I'm very happy that we're doing it. We waited for so long because, not because the wherewithal was not there, but we needed a big space in this campus, And we finally found a 10,000 square feet area, which was taken a long time to approve, and now it is building up. So again, goes back to the same point, you are really lucky to be in VS, in Vesit, to be able to access this ecosystem that the industry exists and the ecosystem that exists in VS. So having said that, after I graduated from here, I worked with a few companies. I was part of the founding team in Accenture in 2001, left in 2013, completed 12 years from a software engineer to a managing director, started Adaptee with an alumni of Vesit. So Abbas was my batchmate, one of my colleague who was in Accenture. We all came together to actually start the company. In 2021, we've been actually acquired by a bigger company called Apexon. So we got an exit in 2018 after 8 years. Okay, so I'm just giving you this context because nothing comes very easy and very quick. So don't expect quick results. But it was not something that we were looking for, but we knew that one of the milestones that we'll someday achieve will be is to get into an M&A. So 2021 is when it happened. And that company is Apexon, where I am a senior vice president. While all this was going on, my interest in my, I would say, it was largely interest that I kept going back to the startup ecosystem as an investor. So Neve Angels is a syndicate. In the financial world, like in the investment world, there are these venture capitalists, there are angels, and middle of that there is a syndicate. So syndicate is nothing but a group of people who come together to invest together. So you could have a formal structure or you could have an informal structure. So we started something called as Neve Angels. Neve is foundation. That word comes from the fact that this is a group of people who are the founding members of Accenture. So that word stuck with us. We came together from I think 2020 onwards we started investing. So far we've done about 14 investments, 14 startup investments. And we continue to sort of do that. Now the reason I'm giving you this context is also because you should understand that while the ecosystem exists, you should also know how to tap the ecosystem. So there are a lot of angel networks, there are a lot of syndicates, there are a lot of platforms, there are incubation centers, there are accelerators, but you should also know how to approach them, how you should pitch to them and what you should do. End of the day, I think it's really your idea, your interest and your passion that should drive you. Now while this happened, I also started working with a bunch of friends, family friends, who are into the medical industry. I mean, I would say medical industry, they're actually doctors, they're ophthalmologists. So we built a product in the space of ophthalmology. This is a SaaS-based product. Everybody knows what SaaS here is? Yeah? Okay, good. Yes. You should deserve a prize for that. So it's a SaaS platform which actually treats vision ailments. Okay. So there's a principle in ophthalmology called dichoptic principle. Largely very less practiced by doctors because it's a very laborious thing. But what we did, we converted the entire principle into algorithms, and we converted those algorithms into games. So it's not like your mobile games, because mobile games will not be effective for a vision. Your vision has to move in a particular way. So we built web-based games. So you can play on a larger monitor, a 14-inch, 15-inch, or 20-inch monitor, which actually treats your eyesight for specific ailments like amblyopia, which is lazy eye. So it's a medical term or medical ailment that people have. And also, as we developed that platform, we also built more products on it, because we realized this is not just one product company, it's a platform that we are building for ophthalmology. So after we got the amblyopia product developed, it was well accepted in the market, we developed something called as a CVS product. CVS is computer vision syndrome. So people like you and I could likely be affected by that, because we have a very excessive exposure to digital devices. So you might think that you have a dry eye issue. I mean, if you are like having a headache or a red eye or eyes watering, you might go to an optician or an ophthalmologist. You said, okay, take these refresh drops or you'll be fine. But that is a treatment for dry eyes, not for computer vision syndrome. So you need to also, so there are very few doctors also know about this, by the way. So now you're trying to spread this awareness so that people know that there is an ailment that can be actually even cured. And it's not just a temporary correction by, correcting your convergence ratio or, or divergence ratio, which is basically wearing spectacles. It's a temporary correction, right? So why I'm telling you this, because I think, it's also important while you are building something, while you're part of an enterprise or you're doing something, never ever lose the touch of your own interest, of what your passion is. You can always do things in parallel. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to not take the job today that you have in hand and then start a company. You could still do that. Okay, this is not about moonlighting. Moonlighting is when you actually get two salaries from two different companies. So I wouldn't recommend that. But frankly, if you are passionate, if you are something that, if there is something that you want to do and you want to build, nothing stops you from spending your nights and early mornings to build that. While you have a day job, you can still do that. And this is something that I did. I'm sure my colleagues here have a different story to tell, and there is no one right way to do something. There are always multiple ways, and I would like them to also now talk about themselves and really enlighten you about their journey.
Guys, how many of you know Vijay? How many of you have been placed to Accenture? Out of you guys? Anyone from Accenture? Not yet? Okay. It's yet to come? Okay, okay. So if you go to Vikroli office, right, there is one bay where you'll always see Vijay, Vijay, Vijay echoing from the background. So sharing the platform with such a great person, it's my my honor to be on his panel discussion with him. So those who will be joining Accenture will definitely know about Vijay. So thank you, Vijay, for enlightening us on your journey. Okay, so first of all, everyone, wish you a very happy new year, right? And how many of you are placed and want to become entrepreneurs? You can. ठीक है, sir है, right? Acha, this is, okay, you don't have the 4th year batch here. Okay. So how many of you want to become serious entrepreneurs? Like, भाई मुझे करना ही करना है, कुछ भी हो जाए. Oh, it's a good number. Okay, पहले से कम हो गया थोड़ा, लेकिन it's still a good number. Okay, that's great. So if you ask me at this point of time, okay, demographically, which is the greatest country to be in? Can someone answer this? Economically, demographically, which is the best country to be in at this point of time? Sri Lanka. Somebody says Sri Lanka. Is it? Let's make it a bit interactive, guys. So what do you think? Which country is the best to be? Is it US? Is it China? Is it India? Is it India? Can someone tell me why you are telling me that why India should be? Any one of you can just raise your hands and say that. Why India? Guys, come on. Very good. ठीक है, वो तो we are emerging economy, right? 5 years also back we were an emerging economy. But what changed in this 5 years, probably?
Number of startups increased, encouragement for building startups increased.
Why?
Government policies.
Don't you think demography is one of the basic principle? We are the youngest countries in the world. Other countries are, perfect. We are a country of 139 crore people, right? So this is the biggest market. Every other company wants to invest in India. Secondly, our labor is comparatively cheap as compared to US markets. And there are multiple government schemes, right? Being the youngest country, biggest market, and the other important aspect is we have a very good spending power, right? In India, at this point of time, we have a very good spending power as compared to other developed nations. So this is the time, if you ask me personally, is the best time to build an enterprise. So one out of logical question, if I ask you, right, today is Mukesh Ambani, maybe 60, 65 years old, right? He's the richest person of India. So if I give him 1,000 crores or tell him that you go back and become 22 right now, what he will choose according to you? No? Why 22? That was a good answer. ये पक्का salesman बनेगा बड़ा. Okay, the reason I'm telling you is that the vision he had when he built Reliance, right? Reliance Telecom. At that time, right, no one had that type of vision, right? बाद में उनका family feud हुआ, that enterprise moved to other brother, that's a separate part. But at that time, if you have read papers, right, he had some vision that had which we are seeing right now in Geo, right? So anybody have seen the Geo ka office near this thing, Kopar Khairne? There is a development center for 5G. So tell me one thing, guys, what do you think 5G will have an impact on you? Speed. अरे speed तो 4G में भी है. What difference will it make in your life? And you think IoT will change the world? How? Any one idea how IoT can change, you know, or you can tell me one thing, you know, IoT will change in future. Automobile. How? वो तो टेस्ला अभी भी कर रही है. हम्म? कैसे? Give me an example, probably. Perfect. Tell me one feature that can automobile used that can change the society probably. This is a food for thought, guys. Perfect. Perfect. So guys, this is the vision, this is the idea, right? So this is the food for thought, right? This is what we want right now. So right time, right place, right country, right people, right background, right? ये किसी भी कॉलेज में नहीं हो रहा है at present, right? As far as I know, right? I'm not considering IITs or something, but incubation center, you know, if you take other colleges, I don't think that is happening. So if you think Vijay had posted this idea in 2014, right? उसका vision सोचो यार. What vision he has at this point of time, right? So that's what we intend to develop. You know, coming back to my story of entrepreneurship, it was more from a majburi perspective, right? Because it had a loss of life, right, at that time. Because I lost my father, that's how I entered into the business. So I don't want to get into, you know, everybody has a different set of stories, right? Mine was more from a majburi perspective. I graduated from college in 2011. I was not a good student at all, trust me guys. Sir ने मुझे अपने पीछे पीछे घुमाया है. One day I was late for the interview, right? He made me go entire पीछे पीछे, sir मुझे please बैठने दो, please मुझे बैठने दो, please मुझे बैठने दो, right? So कहने का मतलब ये है कि right, I got placed from college, ठीक है? मैं मस्त on site जाके आया, I was enjoying, right? Salary आ रही थी, everything was fine till 2016, right? 2016 onwards, my father passed away in a very sudden way, and we had a parental business at that time, and my brother was graduating, and his, I think so, last sem ka examination was on 30th of May, and my father passed in 2016 June 11. So he was planning for US, he had given GRE, everything was said and done, right? So we sat down because we had employees. We suddenly can't shut down, we have clients, everything was there. And we did not had any basics. Okay, just to tell you my company, we are a firefighting safety solution providers, right? The alarm systems you see, the integrated systems you see, MUPs. How many of you works on MUPI or embedded systems? Any of you? Which microprocessor you work for? Perfect, right? So I don't have that background, to be very honest. I come from a IT background, and MUPI का मेरा कोई संबंध नहीं था unless I went into my own business, right? So after that we had employees. So my brother and myself sat down, right? So we thought that we have to do something at that point of time, and I was not interested, keen, motivated to join business. मेरा कोई भी ऐसा scenario नहीं था. You know, I wanted a simple life, enjoy it. आराम से I was able to buy an iPhone by 2015, so everything was sorted for me. Until this majboori came in front of me, right? So I can't, you know, just dump my employees and say goodbye, tata. And one thing remember, guys, because, you know, somebody has really worked hard to get at a level, right? So at that time, at 2016, we have a turnover of 1 crore, right? 1.2 crores. Now we are at the turnover of 10 crores. Right? So this is the situation of my business. One important part, my brother, my younger brother, right? He didn't had any background. He used to develop HTML pages, right? He used to create websites for multiple companies. So he was interested in coding and all these activities until this thing came. I had a brief discussion with Nagananda sir, that sir, इसको अभी मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है क्या करना है, right? Because this is a pure mechanical thing, right? And I was from the IT background, right? And IT has this lavish lifestyle, on-sites, girls around, right? So yeah, that was a very, and this firefighting solutions where you go, you have to deal with laborers, you have to deal with executive engineers, you have to deal with all from scratch zero to up to the CEO, you have to deal with everyone, right? So I was not in for it. So I remember my first project was for Sipla Patalganga. I don't know how many of you know Sipla Patalganga. Patalganga is one of the MIDC areas, right, where Sipla manufactures your, I don't remember which product. APIs, right, perfect. It is an API plant, right? तो वहाँ पे हमको उनके cold storage में detection system लगाना था. So at one point of time, I thought, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ यार? I was not able to understand anything. When slowly, you know, money was a bit attraction at that time, right? The project costing was 5 crores, 6 crores, right? This is the approximate project costing of any firefighting system you install, right? So that was one of the factors. But except that, it was a very dry area for me, right? मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? So I didn't know what my brother will do, right? He will like it because he was never a part of any company. He was just graduated and his all friends were going to the US. That was a demotivating factor for him कि भाई मेरे को भी US जाना है. Everybody has a, you know, something very good about कि US में ऐसा होगा, वैसा होगा. I'll have a great lifestyle, great cars, blah, 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 kind of a thing. So I had a deep word with Nagananda sir. So we had this SPJMR, right? SP Jain has one very good course called as Family Business Management, right? What they do is that, you know, majority of people who have their family businesses, right? They come and they, you know, send their childrens and, you know, how to, you know, progress your business. So in that we met Mapro. How many of you know Mapro? Right. Mapro sons we met. Cycle Agarbatti sons we met. Then there was Agarwal Packers and Movers. So one important game changer that Agarwal Packers and Movers gave to us, right? So they have their own facility, they have their own vehicles, right? So how they manage their drivers, because in the transportation field, right, the important part is how you manage your people. Because driver के हाथ में ही आपका करोड़ों का सामान है, right? And how you manage the accidents. So what Agarwal Packers and Movers have done, they have created a small sleeping areas for their drivers. They can go rest there for 5-6 hours and come back, and it's a very good facility, at least you know, up to a level of 2-star, right? This is what they have story of how they have progressed, you know, in this competitive market. So कहने का मतलब in short ये है, right? At this point of time, if you have certain great ideas, मैं ऐसे नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि आप job छोड़ के, you know, you start doing that. No, everybody has their own set of problems, maybe financial, maybe some other, I'm not. But if you have a passion to do it, राइट? अगर आप करना चाहते हो, राइट, रात में जाग के भी कर सकते हो, सुबह उठकर भी कर सकते हो विथ योर जॉब. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, दिस इज नॉट अ मून लाइटिंग. And moonlighting is not illegal also in India. Ethically, it's not correct, but it's not illegal in India, right? Directors are doing moonlighting. I am doing moonlighting for myself also, right? I am with Little Flea also. I am with my company also. It's not illegal, but ethically it's not correct, right? My level, I am managing from above, right? I am not into deep gone. I'm a non-executive partner. That too, I'll be exiting it, but that's within my purview of I can do it. But what I am suggesting, if you have certain areas, right? जैसे इसने मुझे बताया, what's your good name यार? Sorry? Shayal, right? Shayal had some great idea. Can it be translated into reality? If he gets funding, I think so he can do the job. He need people, he just need management skills in that. Right? Technically, I assume he's sound. Right? Many of the entrepreneurs are not that much technically also. Right? So, agar aapko abhi bhi you have certain ideas, right? I have seen people, right, from their second year, right, who has that vision कि भाई हमको ये करना है. They are not very good with academics. I have known people. That doesn't mean कि academically छोड़ दो आप. But if you have a vision, this is the right time to invest in India and to be in India. How many of you wants to go to US, right? कि हमको US जाना है, settle होना है. This guy. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. I assume this means 50% will go for GRE, right? अभी कोई हाथ नहीं उठा रहा है second year में. But that's not a bad choice. But मेरे कहने का मतलब ये, if you have an idea, focus on an idea. How many of you know NRB bearings? Have you heard of NRB bearings? Needle Royce bearings? No? Okay, it's a 1,000 crore company. They manufacture ball bearings. The important part with the ball bearing is that they customize the ball bearing according to the needs of the customer, right? I'm fortunate to meet a lady called as Harshbina Zaveri. She is the MD and CEO of NRB Bearings. So one important aspect that she told me, right, this is feed it right into my ears and I'd like to share it with you all, is that 18-19 साल में है ना, we get a rough idea about a child, right? How he is going to be, whether he'll be a follower or he'll instruct the people, right? I mean, he'll be the leader, right? So this is the age, guys. Choose your circle very carefully, right? Don't waste your time because this will form the basic, right? मैं आपको ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, skill सबके पास है, right? Everybody has skill and skill can be learned, right? Mindset is important. In my brother's case, right, what he's learning from the college is something that can be learned from YouTube also, right? PNL क्या होता है, फलाना क्या होता है. But the important part is the mindset, right? अगर तुम if you are selecting the people rightly around you, that will give a food for thought for you, right? कि ऐसा नहीं है कि आप किसी के साथ, because that will cultivate, because you are at that age at this point of time, 19, 20, 21, 22, right? These are the very primary ages where you have to choose your circle very carefully, and that will decide your next 50 years. Trust me, until कोई मजबूरी मेरी तरह आती है तो, right? So this is very important point to be noted, right? Any questions, guys? Yeah.
Just 1 minute left. Good morning, everyone. I am Pratik Gupta. So just now, Saili ma'am entered, and I got very scared because I passed out in 2013. So I was in EXTC, and ma'am being one of the professors, so I was always out of the class only. Ma'am जैसे आती थी, आधा घंटा मैं सुनता था और ma'am बोली प्रतीक बाहर. So, it is great being here. What happens is whenever I come to such forums, I passed out in 2013 EXTC. तो क्या होता, that time sir सेड 1995, 2013 में कोई था ही नहीं स्टार्टअप, मतलब आई डिडंट, मेरे बैचमेट से कोई नहीं, आई थिंक 2015 तक वैसे में, मतलब वो बैच आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, कोई आया नहीं, क्योंकि हमारे इसमें क्या होता है, वेनेवर समन आस्ट कौन क्या करने वाला है, तो सब लोग एमएससी था, तो मेरे ग्रुप में आई थिंक देवर 18 स्टूडेंट्स जो हमारे ग्रुप में थे, उसमें 16 लोग तो अभी यूएस में ही है, खाली मैं इधर बच गया और एक और मेरा दोस्त बच गया, वो डीआरडीओ में, और मैं टाइम पास कर रहा हूँ, तो 2 ही लोग बचे बस। तो एवरीवन यूज्ड टू गो टू यूएस, और अभी तो पूरा ट्रेंड आई एम सीइंग इट हैज चेंज, सो आई एम अ विजिटिंग फैकल्टी ऑल्सो, तो फर्स्ट आई प्रेज माई सेल्फ, देन आई कम टू द मेन टॉपिक। So I teach in 3-4 MBA colleges. I teach in SIS, Atlas, Pillais. So I go twice a week, different colleges. But wherever I go now, so I think that only कि मैं अभी students को extra क्या बताऊँ. So now the issue is, you all know much more than what I know, honestly. I don't know about others. क्योंकि अभी और motivation speech क्या देंगे? दे संदीप महेश्वरी है, YouTube खोलो तो 10 तो speakers है. So I don't know what to say honestly. So I get confused क्या लोगों को बताना क्या चाहिए बच्चों को. When I go for my lecture also in entrepreneurship, I'm going to join Vivekanand Incubation Center also, Management College, Feb से. So I'm thinking now क्या इधर बच्चों को बताना क्या है? Because in terms of technicalities, you all know much more. मैं तो EXTC था, I joined Accenture for 6 months. I was there for 6 months. तो मैं जावा, अमित सर ने जावा सिखाया था, थोड़ा आ गया था मेरे को जावा. और जब कोडिंग करने जाए तो समझ ही नहीं रहा है. तो 6 मंथ्स में तो बाहर हो गया, और अभी आई सी पीपल तो कौन सा लैंग्वेजेस है, इट्स वेरी ह्यूज. सो व्हाट आई थिंक इज, अभी जो स्टूडेंट्स को चाहिए दैट इज ओनली डायरेक्शन एंड मार्केटिंग. थोड़ा डायरेक्शन चाहिए या किस रास्ते में जाना है, एंड मार्केटिंग, बाकी सब तो तुम लोग को आता ही है. सो व्हाट हैपेंड इज, एंड ये थॉट मुझे कहाँ से आया, व्हेन आई वाज इन 2013 ना, तो ऑडिटोरियम में जो भी इवेंट्स होते थे ना, तो मैं लास्ट बेंच पे बैठता था. एंड एट दिस एज व्हाट हैपेंस इज, वी हैव द ईगो ऑफ द हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर. तो मैं भी ऐसा था यार, ये मेरे को क्या सिखाएगा यार, ये तो क्या तो उसमें होता क्या है, मोस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स वी डोंट टेक इन. तो मैं जब भी कोई भी सेमिनार में जाता हूँ तो मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि उनको एक्स्ट्रा क्या दूँ जिससे तुम्हें इंटरेस्ट है, वरना अभी अटेंशन स्पैन तो हाफ एन आवर का ही है स्टूडेंट्स का, 1 आवर का भी नहीं है. तो उसमें द ओनली थिंग विच आई कैन टेल यू ऑल इज, व्हेन आई डिड माई इंजीनियरिंग, देन आई वेंट फॉर एक्सेंचर, देन आई डिड माई MBA. In 2016 I passed out from SIS, and last year only I started my company. My company is into LED lights. तो जैसे ही 2018 में I think I got this contract. तो जैसे ही the lights लग गया ना, तो मेरा first thought यही था, भाई पूरा पैसा तो वसूल कर लिया इंजीनियरिंग का. तो when I enter, तो that is a उसके बाद what happened is 2016 में मैंने SIS पास आउट किया, तो 17 के एंड में SIS में भी अपनी लाइट्स लगा दी. तो अभी whenever I go to any college ना, तो मेरा सबसे पहले यही रहता है कि भाई इधर के पैसे तो मैंने वसूल कर लिए. तो what happens is 2016 after my SIS last semester I started my company. My company, as I told you, is into LED lights. So मेरा तभी एक ही पॉइंट था, that time many of the startups were coming in. बहुत ही आ रहे थे उससे पहले भी, but वो एक फेज था where all this app based startups were coming in, जो अपने apps बनाते थे and they used to have their presence online. And अभी भी काफ़ी app based startup आ रहे हैं. तो मेरा खाली ये thinking था, I wanted to go into product based industry. क्योंकि प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री में क्या होता है, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट. नाउ आई हैव अ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेटअप. आई थिंक मुंबई में आई थिंक देयर आर ओनली 3 कंपनीज जिसने आफ्टर 2014 स्टार्ट किया है, एंड दे हैव अ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेटअप इन इलेक्ट्रिकल. सो आई मैन्युफैक्चर माई ओन प्रोडक्ट्स. तो व्हेन आई वेंट फॉर अ इन्वेस्टमेंट एंजल इन्वेस्टर के पास, तो किसी ने तो मुझे इंटरेस्ट नहीं दिखाया, क्योंकि तभी तो वो ऐप बेस्ड का ये था ना. एंड प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री टेक्स अ लॉन्ग टाइम. First, because you have to do everything on your own. Initially, I didn't start manufacturing, obviously. I went for outsource. I bought the materials from a vendor. मैंने अपना नाम, brand name लाके I used to sell. लेकिन later on, price becomes a very huge issue because there are multinational companies in LED lights. There is Panasonic, Havells, Cisca, many. Asian Paints has come into this. Many companies. तो it's very difficult to compete with them. So that's when I realized कि इस business में angel investors या दूसरे investors, अभी तो the people are investing more. बट दैट टाइम कोई इन्वेस्ट करता ही नहीं था. सो दैट टाइम आई रियलाइज वन थिंग, क्या एक बार दिमाग में कुछ कीड़ा होना, क्या बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना इज वन थिंग, लेकिन उसको आगे बढ़ाना इज अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट थिंग. सो व्हेन आई गो टू दिस इंक्यूबेशन इन दिस कॉलेजेस वेयर आई टीच इंक्यूबेशन, तो व्हाट आई सी इज पीपल आर वेरी इंटरेस्टेड. मतलब सबको अभी जैसे 80% लोग को तो स्टार्टअप चालू ही करना है, लेकिन होता क्या है, विद इन 6 months और 1 year दे स्टार्ट थिंकिंग कि भाई इसको 2 साल में बड़ा कैसे बनाओ और उसको फिर बेच कैसे दूँ. So that is the trend which is coming, which I am not saying that is wrong, don't take me that way. Because there are 2 points of view. One is from the owner's point of view, founder's point of view, and one is from management point of view. So I talk about management point of view, क्योंकि I am teaching ना. लेकिन owners point of view के लिए वो सही है भाई, 2 साल में उसने कमा के अपना पैसा साइड में कर दिया, ठीक है. So I am talking about management point of view. What happened is with my friend also, उसने एक startup start किया. That is when I realized कि भाई मुझे product full force में जाना है. What he did is he started his company. He had around 35 employees. तो around 3 years तक उसने अपना चलाया. कुछ app based था, cloud computing के ऊपर था. तो ही स्टार्टेड इस कंपनी, 3 साल तक उसने चलाया। फिर थर्ड ईयर में जब वो चला था एकदम से उसने सबको ले ऑफ कर दिया क्योंकि लॉसेज में चल रही थी। तो उसमें से 3 लोग जो थे ना, दे हैड द EMIs, वो सब फिक्स होता है ना उन लोग का, तो उसमें से एक जन ने सुसाइड कर लिया। क्योंकि हुआ क्या, उसको एकदम से रियलाइज़ ही नहीं हुआ कि अभी मैं अभी दूसरा जॉब मेरे इतने EMIs में करूँ कहाँ से, क्योंकि अभी हो क्या रहा है। तभी आई गॉट अ बिग जोल्ट कि भाई यार उसने मेरा फ्रेंड ही था, क्लोज फ्रेंड था, तो उसने मुझे स्टोरी बताई। तभी मेरे को रियलाइज़ हुआ क्या, व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज वी आर बिल्डिंग अप कंपनीज, जितने भी स्टार्टअप्स है, वी आर रनिंग इट फॉर अ शॉर्ट टाइम। फिर हम क्या सोचते हैं, ठीक है हमारा पैसा बन गया तो हम लोग निकाल लेते हैं, बट वी आर नॉट लुकिंग एट द एम्प्लॉयज हु आर वर्किंग विद अस। एंड आई फील लाइक एवरीवन कैन सेट अप अ कंपनी, यू ऑल आर मच मोर क्लेवर देन व्हाट वी आर। बट उसमें होता क्या है, अभी एथिकल पार्ट तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा मिसिंग हो गया है। अभी लोग क्या सोचते हैं, मैं 1-1.5 साल चलाऊँ अपना कंपनी में और फिर लोगों को ले ऑफ करके अपना दूसरा बिजनेस चालू करूँ, बट वी आर नॉट लुकिंग एट द कॉस्ट विच वी आर हैविंग, उनको निकाल के। तो दिस इज वन थिंग, सो दैट इज व्हेन आई रियलाइज्ड क्या आई एंड आई लाइक टीचिंग ऑल्सो, सो आई डिसाइडेड दैट इन अ वीक आई गो फॉर 2 days फॉर टीचिंग। तो मैं भी इन अ वीक आई गो फॉर 2 days। तो उसमें व्हाट आई इनकलकेट इन स्टूडेंट्स इज दैट एक तो लॉन्जिटिविटी, यू ऑल नीड टू हैव अ लॉन्जिटिविटी इन योर बिजनेस। स्टार्टअप हो, ऐप बेस्ड हो, प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड हो, कुछ भी हो, बट लॉन्जिटिविटी होना बहुत ज़रूरी है। अदरवाइज व्हाट विल हैपन इज यू विल कीप हॉपिंग। वैसे पेशेंस लेवल अभी किसी में है तो नहीं, तो बट एटलीस्ट इंस्टेड ऑफ 6 months और 1 year वो स्पैन को हम लोग बढ़ाने की कोशिश करें। So that is the thing which I look at in entrepreneurs, and we invest in one startup in IIT Delhi. So I am a visiting faculty for IIT Delhi also. Once a month only I go there. तो वहाँ पे also we invest only in one startup. And I'm not saying कि IIT Delhi कुछ आगे है इसकी वजह से, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। वो तो मैं visiting हूँ तो उनकी टीम के साथ अच्छा जेलअप हो गया है। तो I look at only people जिनने अपना 5 years का एक तो प्लान बनाया है, and they have a clear cut picture कि भाई 5 years में करने क्या वाले हैं। इट्स नॉट दैट कि भाई सबके पास 5 years का प्लान होना चाहिए, आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट इट्स डिफिकल्ट, बट एटलीस्ट एक क्लियर कट विजन तो होना ही चाहिए कि भाई नेक्स्ट 5 years तक मुझे करना ही है। वरना होता क्या, लोग क्या सोचते हैं 2 साल तक ये कंपनी चलाऊंगा, फिर 1 साल तक ये चलाऊंगा, फिर 1 साल तक ये चलाऊंगा। दैट इज लिटिल डिफिकल्ट टू हैंडल। सो आई जस्ट फिनिश्ड ऑफ इन 5 minutes. So in 2016 I passed out. 2019 my company was in top 20 companies of Mumbai in electrical space. In 2021 we were the top 10 profit making companies in Mumbai. So yeah. Now we have, now especially after COVID, government is investing huge in manufacturing. So now I have 2 plants, one is in Pune, one is Haridwar, and one I'm coming up with a tie-up with a Korean company. So now countries from abroad are planning to set up in, planning to invest in India, which is a huge thing. So now we are having a tie-up with them. Now we'll set up another plant. And manufacturing at some level, if you all can, and many mechanical engineers and EXTC people are there, so manufacturing is not that difficult, but हाँ, it is a huge investment is involved, तो उसमें थोड़ा सा difficulty हो जाता है, but at a later stage when your product is at a certain life cycle, so you all can go into manufacturing also. And one last thing is, see, I know many sports secretaries and general secretaries will be over here in the crowd. So I was a sports secretary, तो मैं तो कभी इतना lectures लोगों का ज़्यादा सुनता नहीं था। तो वन थिंग एज आई रियलाइज्ड इज, बी इट योर प्रोफेसर्स या आगे तुम लोग जो भी कुछ भी सुनते हो, देयर इज वन इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट इन एवरी वन स्पीच, ठीक है। 80% तो हम लोग वैसे भी, आई विल टॉक अबाउट माई स्टोरी, एवरी विल कम एंड टॉक अबाउट देयर स्टोरी, यूट्यूब पे भी सबकी स्टोरीज है ही, एंड थोड़ा थोड़ा तुम लोग ले भी लोगे, कोई लोग तो खाली एक पॉइंट है, सब स्पीच में एक इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट होता ही है, दैट एटलीस्ट यू ऑल शुड ट्राई एंड टेक, ठीक है ना। बिकॉज आई हैव डन दैट मिस्टेक, मेरे में तो बहुत ही ईगो था, तुम लोग तो फिर भी सुन रहे हो, मैं तो सुनने वालों में से भी नहीं था। तो बट लेटर आई रियलाइज इन माई लाइफ दैट कोई पॉइंट्स जो है ना, मैं आई एम लिटिल लेट इन कैचिंग अप टू दोज पॉइंट्स। तो 1-2 पॉइंट ना हर एक के स्पीच में इंपॉर्टेंट होता ही है, भले ही कोई भी हो, टीचर हो, प्रोफेसर हो, यूट्यूब वाला हो या कोई भी हो, ठीक है। एक पॉइंट तो लेके जाना चाहिए। इफ़ यू आर नॉट गेटिंग दैट पॉइंट देन स्टॉप लिसनिंग, फिर अपना करने जाओ। बट सबके स्पीच में या सबके जो भी वो आपको बता रहे हैं उसमें 1 पॉइंट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वो लेना ज़रूरी है। लेकिन खाली हम हमारे ईगो के वजह से कुछ भी नहीं सुनते, और मैंने वो फेस किया, इसकी वजह से तुम लोग को मैं गाइड कर रहा हूँ कि एटलीस्ट लिसन, जो भी एक इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है वो ले लो, फिर बाकी तो अपना काम करना ही है, ठीक है। ऑलराइट, थैंक यू।
Time never waits for anyone. So we started in the morning, it's afternoon. So, but I'll like to start with good morning only. So good morning, everyone. And Happy New Year. It's already 16, so actually it's not New Year. Many of you may have already lost the track of your resolutions. I don't know how many of you have made it. So it's actually not new year, it's now the reality of the year. So the one who are continuing with the resolution, you will do something. So I am happy to share one thing, that it's 16 today and half of the month has already passed out. The list that I had made on the 31st night. So I never spend my 31st partying anywhere or clubbing. I love to spend my 31st with me, at my home with my desk. And I like to, analyze whatever I have done in the past year, what I'm going to achieve in the next year. This is how I like to start my year. So I don't know, many of my friends say कि यार तुझे socializing नहीं आता. So I don't know whether it is not knowing socializing or whether it is giving priority to what you want. So it is something that I like to start with. So I'll start with what is Friends Campus and then how I came here. I think in this panel, I am the youngest, if I'm not wrong. Right? I passed out MCA in 2017 from, of course, Visit. And Visit was my third college. First was SIWS Wadala. Second, graduation was from Resvi Bandra. Third was Visit. When I entered for admission in Visit, so I don't have the fees. I had that fees in my pocket. So my dad said कि जा थोड़ा किसी से बात कर लेना principal या किसी से, and fees तो भर देंगे, मतलब साल भर में तो भर ही सकते. So I said yes, that don't worry, I'll go and I'll figure it out. So one thing that I got from my family was they let me take the risk. They let me do the things alone. So my dad didn't came with me. He told me तू जाके देख ले, in the year we'll figure it out. So I came, I met principal ma'am, thank you so much for that day. So I was waiting 2 hours outside the office because there was some important meetings going on that day. And after the meeting, I went into the cabin, I asked ma'am that, ma'am, I don't have the fees and I got selected for the admission. So what is the process, how I can continue? Ma'am told me, don't worry, whatever you have, just pay. And within the year, you pay your fees. So that was something like, in that moment, not having fees and getting so easily, actually it was very easy. I thought कि शायद 10-12 reason देने होंगे और बहुत चीजें करनी होगी. So waiting 2 hours, and by the way, I already took admission in MSc IT in SIS before coming here. So because MCA results comes after that. So I had an admission in SIS, but because someone has told me that MCA is a better course than MSc IT, I don't know about it, and every course has their pros and cons. But then took that admission, and what was my entry? Let me just tell you why I was so excited to get admitted here. When I entered, I think praxis was going on. And from top of the terrace, there was some, wire attached till this management building, and someone was coming from top. है ना? So, till today, I don't know what that event is called because मतलब वो ऊंचाई से वो आ रहा था. And I was like कि यार ये कौन सा कॉलेज है? मतलब तीसरा कॉलेज था ना, तो पहले के दोनों कॉलेज में ये एंट्री तो नहीं मिली थी. So I said कि नहीं फीस का देख लेंगे, but I want admission in this college. ठीक है? I came luckily with no hard work, I got the admission. And then next 3 years, 2014, 2015, 2016 was one of the best years of my life. And the reason is that I always say that I lost Minaj in 2010. When I passed out in 2009, I passed out from my 10th class, and I lost myself. In school, I was among the one who will participate in every competition. I don't know why. There was a reason. It is actually a khunnas. You know what happened? Since junior KG to 4th standard, there were 2 students in my class who were elected as the monitor. And they were continued to be the monitor till 4th. I don't know why. Like every year I used to think कि अब chance बदलेगा, कुर्सी मिलेगी, है ना? So like there was no election, no political agenda, but कुर्सी मिलती नहीं थी. वो fix था कि यही दोनों monitor बनेंगे. So when secondary, like when I graduated from 4th and I moved to 5th class, I got to know that teachers will change. So I said अब मौका है. So from 5th to 10th, I made sure कि मैं हर एक competition में part लूँ. And I was a very nervous kid. मतलब my mom still says कि यार ये तो बाबा बनने वाला था, है ना? ये इतनी बातें कैसे करने लगा? So I was a very shy. I used to keep quiet. I always was a listener. I used to just listen that what people are saying. So in 5th I said कि नहीं ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. I have to be on the stage. I have to develop my confidence. I have to talk. But when I came on the stage, I said कि यार ये तो inbuilt था. So that's why I again say that I am a gifted, because I thought कि again यहाँ पे भी hard work करना पड़ेगा. But when first day I came on the stage. That was 26th January, it is coming. 26th January drama that we need to do when I was in 5th class. And from 5th to 10th, there were around 11 students who were into that drama, and the best performer was I. So, now how many of you here are MCA students? No surprise, I know that. So in my batch, I was the only one who, went for startup. And in my graduation batch, I was again the only one who went for MCA. So it happened to me like, yaar, alag path hi chalna hai. Okay? This was something happened. Now I live in the neighborhood of Dharavi. It is Matunga Labor Camp, the neighborhood is called. So I say to people that I was born and brought up into the slums. Okay, so starting from cleaning the dirty, gutter waters and all, I've spent a lot of time there. And actually, I'm very privileged because the startup idea got, emerged from there. So how I came to my startup, first of all, I feel privileged to be sitting out here with all these panelists. And being the younger, I'm also, my agenda, like today morning, I was unable to sleep. I slept at 3:15, I woke up at 4:15, I put up a LinkedIn post. And nobody I can actually found. I don't know why, maybe the LinkedIn search was not working. I found Vijay Talreja, sir. I tagged him. And I said that today I'm going to learn something. And maybe in this, discussion, I'll able to share some of the point that I have learned. So that was my thing here. And what happened was when I started Friends Campus. So actually it was started in 2016, okay? I was in 2016, we just completed 4th semester of MCA and entered to the last year. So it was 19th May 2016. 20th May was our last exam. And because we were bored giving all these exams, so I was getting, sitting and thinking कि यार ये wall कितने अच्छे मतलब दीवारें भी अच्छी लगती है ना एग्जाम से पहले. तो I searched Google के how to concentrate one day before last exam. I don't know why this thought came to my mind, but I Googled it. And a WikiHow page came up. WikiHow.com is a website. And I read that article. And maybe because it was the one day before last exam, I was so curious. So what happened was I read that article. I felt very excited कि यार इतना अच्छा explanation, इतने अच्छे से article किसने लिखा होगा? So for the first time in my life, I went to the About Us page of that website. And in that page, I got to know 22 people team have created this website, okay? And they are working to solve a problem known as what is the question that people ask as how, and what could be the best possible answers to it. So they were working on that, and that, because placements and all were also going on that time. So I got elected as the placement head from MCA department. So subconsciously, job, what to do next was going on in my mind. So that's why maybe I, connected with this dot and hint that what is this thing called as. So today you all should feel privileged that people are coming and telling you about what is startup, what is a startup ecosystem, and what India is doing right now. Like, very well already explained by the co-panelist here, that what is startup, what India is moving ahead, this is the best place to be. But that time I don't even knew what startup word means. So then I said to myself, because exam baki tha agle din, सारी research एक दिन पहले तो नहीं होगी. So I tell कि कल exam दे देते boss, and then I'll search for it कि ये है क्या, ठीक है? So 20th May 2016 I gave the exam. 21st May in the morning 8 a.m. I just woke up, had my breakfast, opened my laptop, and till night 1 a.m. I didn't left it. One after the other, one after the other. One article when I was reading, there were terminologies which I was unable to understand. कि ये क्या? I wrote it down, I Googled again. Then again I wrote it down, I Googled again. I think 300 articles पढ़े थे उस दिन मैंने. So that one day I read 300 articles, I decided this is what I want to be. I remember Nagananda sir told me you are the placement in charge, you will get elected, why you are not applying for placement? So I decided I'll not apply for placements. And I was part of the placement process from start to end. I used to be here till night 9 a.m. for the placement process, but I didn't apply for placement. The reason was that I was having a fear inside me, that if I get selected, will I be having that gut and courage to not, join the company? And there was another side of that, thinking that because if I get selected, I was feeling company वालों को क्या लगेगा यार? कि I actually used one seat because I got selected. Maybe if I don't apply and if I get selected, I don't join, that one seat is going wasted. So if I don't apply, maybe some other person who needs that job will join that company. So I didn't apply at all. Okay. And the name Friends Campus we kept because at that time the idea was to create a digital infrastructure for college students. So again, that linked to the visit days. When we came here on the first week, we got an email ID known as minaj.sheikh@ves.ac.in. Again, my first experience. Previous two colleges, they didn't have that process. So I felt that one email ID. I'm sure you all have got that VES ID, right? So how many of you already had this ID like in previous colleges, junior college and all? Okay, so not only me, like yours previous college were also don't having this process. This is one of the best thing that Visit gives us. This one single email ID gets us connected so beautifully. Every announcement reached to us. So बोलना नहीं चाहिए the bunkers who don't attend class. है ना, पहले ऐसा होता था कि दोस्त को पूछना पड़ता है कि यार क्या होने वाला है, अनाउंस कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट छूट तो नहीं जाए, बट विजिट दे टेक केयर ऑफ देयर बंकर्स एज वेल, है ना. तो अगर आप क्लास में नहीं हो आप तक मेल आ जाएगा कि आपको क्या मतलब इंपॉर्टेंट कमिंग इन इन द क्लास आपका होने वाला है. सो दैट वाज वन ब्यूटीफुल थिंग. आई थॉट कि यार ये एक ईमेल आईडी अगर इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है तो जस्ट इमेजिन कि पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का जो एक्सपीरियंस है अगर वी कैन क्रिएट इट डिजिटल एंड वी कैन गिव इट एवरीथिंग ऑनलाइन, सो कितना ब्यूटीफुल होगा. I started with that project in 2016. That was real Friends Campus. So worked till 2017 in that project. I developed that project. RISV approved that project. SIS approved that project. Khalsa approved that project. Okay. And Visit also, I didn't met with principal ma'am, but in my department, HODs and all, I introduced them. They said, yes, this is a good project, we'll implement it. But while walking this path, I came to know that this is kind of like a Facebook we are creating. Because that was the similar, we need role models, I saw in the PPT. So there are role models that we all need, okay, right? So we need examples as well. Now today the ecosystem is so beautifully developed and people are there to help you out. During that time I was searching कि किससे बात करूँ, कौन ऐसा होगा जिससे कुछ idea मिलेगा, but there were very few. Or maybe I didn't know whom to connect. So then I chose कि कौन सा ऐसा platform है which resembles to Friends Campus. Then I thought कि यार social media platforms हो सकते हैं because they are also doing the same thing. जो real life social activities हम करते हैं उसी को they have made, like पहले कहते हैं ना कि जैसे people in the neighborhood they try to see कि दूसरे के घर में क्या चल रहा है, अब झांकना नहीं पड़ता, खुद ही पोस्ट कर देते हैं I'm enjoying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. मतलब अब लोग socialize को easy कर दिए. Nobody needs to peek into others' family. Everyone share it कि हाँ भाई मैं ऐसा हो. एक नॉट एज अ जोक बट एक बात थी कि पहले लड़कियों को देखने जाना पड़ता था, आई गॉट, मतलब वो होता है ना कि बिफोर मैरिज वी नीड टू गो. अब देखने नहीं जाना पड़ता है, नाम पता चलते ही ना, बिकॉज इन माई फ्रेंड सर्कल दे वर डिस्कसिंग कि नाम पता चल गया तो ठीक है, इंस्टा एफबी में तो ढूंढ ही लेंगे, है ना. सो दिस इज अगेन अ प्रो एंड कॉन ऑफ द सोसाइटी दैट वी आर हेडिंग टू. सो देर इज प्रोज फॉर दिस ऑफ कोर्स बट देर इज कॉन्स एज वेल. सो when I got to know about the process that that Facebook has followed and the investment they had, put up and building that Facebook platform, I got and sleepless night because वो investment कहाँ से लाऊं, है ना. This was my first question. Project was fabulous. Like till date, I feel that is the best project and the best idea that someone from a college can get it out. Best project, and now there are 1-2 organizations who are actually building it. So I'm very happy for that. So project was fabulous, but there was one question keeping in my mind कि यार investment कहाँ से लो, billions की बात हो रही है यहाँ पे तो, है ना. और salary मतलब हम तो thousands देख रहे थे कि कुछ thousands मिल जाए as a salary after we graduate. So ये billions how we will invest. So then I started getting वो होता है अंदर fear आता है आपके, डर लगने लगता है कि आप क्या करें. So I promised few of my friends, you can say, to join as a co-founder, और उनको convince भी कर लिया था सारा कुछ. But then I Vivek said कि वो जो employee की जिम्मेदारी होती है ना, that is ethically is a very big responsibility to you. Whatever you are doing, whatever decisions we are going to take, जब हम अकेले होते हैं ना बहुत easy है, कुछ भी करो कहीं पे भी मुड़ जाओ. But when there is someone in the backside who is dependent on you, तब एक स्टेप लेने से पहले 2 बार सोचना होता है कि कहीं ये स्टेप इसे तो हम नहीं करेगा, मुझे तो ठीक है, तो दैट इज द पॉइंट व्हेन आई थॉट के एम आई डूइंग दिस करेक्ट. what I need to do, what to be done. तो बहुत सारे questions थे and I used to have sleepless night. रात को नींद नहीं आती थी क्योंकि placement तो जा चुका था, placement में apply नहीं किया, 2017 खत्म हो गया, college से pass out हो चुके. But then one day I just ये होता है entrepreneurship journey का, ये roller coaster ride है. One day you will feel कि I'm lost. मतलब क्या कर लिया भाई ये तूने, ठीक है. The other day you will feel I'm the king, अब तो $1 billion कंपनी बनने वाली है. मतलब वो आइडिया क्लिक हो जाता है कि अरे ये इसी का आंसर ढूंढ रहे थे हम रास्ते में, और वो आंसर मिल जाता है वाइल शावरिंग, वाइल राइडिंग, वाइल वॉकिंग. वो आंसर है ना सबकॉन्शियसली आपके माइंड में आ जाता है. सो एन आंसर केम टू मी कि यार करना क्या है, एजुकेशन में ही करना है ना. कैंपस को डिजिटल कर रहे थे, लेट्स नॉट फोकस हियर क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट लगने वाला है. इसी में कुछ और करने का ट्राई करते हैं जिसमें बिल्डअप कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज एट द एंड स्टार्टअप तो करना था, ये तो माइंड में था ही कि स्टार्टअप करना है. सो व्हाट आई सेड वाज आई मेक अ list of educational startups who are running in the country, and I said I'll go into the market, I'll understand how they are working because I didn't had any past business background या फिर कैसे companies run होती है. तो I said कि I'll go into the market, I'll understand what the people are doing out there, and then I'll continue. So I talked with my co-founders. I said कि luckily they were doing this part time, so I didn't need to ask them कि यार lay off करना है. So they had their morning job. So वो एक benefit था मेरे लिए. So what I said them was कि यार thank you for giving your nights and morning to me and the weekends. But कुछ दिन है ना, you also carry on with the job and give me some time. I actually need to figure out 2-3 things. And then I listed this, companies who were into educational startups. And of course, top was Byju's. How many of you know Byju's? किसी ने of course बोला क्योंकि इंडियन जर्सी तक अगर यार पहुंच जाओ तो कुछ तो किया ही है ना. तो आई लिस्टेड बाइजूस ऑन द टॉप, देन आई लिस्टेड जारो एजुकेशन, आई लिस्टेड टॉपर, एंड एडुएस फंड टेक्नोलॉजीज सडनली केम टू मी. आई डिडंट लिस्टेड इट बिकॉज आई डिडंट न्यू अबाउट इट. एडुएस फंड टेक्नोलॉजीज वॉज अगेन दैट email helped me. I got an email when I was preparing this educational list. I got an email on my ID saying that कि प्लेसमेंट ड्राइव है, बिकॉज आई वॉज द प्लेसमेंट एट, सो आई यूज टू गेट दैट ईमेल. एंड आफ्टर 1 year ऑल्सो अगर कोई ऐसी कंपनी है जो 1 साल पास आउट स्टूडेंट्स को लेती है, दे सेंड द ईमेल. सो मुझे वो मेल आया दैट प्लेसमेंट ड्राइव है, एडुइस फंड टेक्नोलॉजीज इज द नेम ऑफ द कंपनी, दे आर कमिंग फॉर अ ड्राइव एंड दे ऑल्सो वॉन्ट 1 year बैक स्टूडेंट. सो माई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी वॉज कि मैं अपने बैच वालों को वो मतलब पास करूँ. नाउ वॉट हैपेंड when I read the email, I saw that these are educational technology company. So this is an educational technology company, okay, and they are looking for someone like for into educational background. See, अब क्या होता है ना, बहुत बार अपनी ईगो को साइड में रखना पड़ता है. I didn't apply for placement. सबको पता चल गया था मिनाज कुछ कर रहा है, and then coming and applying for placement is something which you need a gut for, क्योंकि teachers, your friends, everyone is going to question you कि क्या हुआ. So, but this was the journey. Then fast forward, started with Eduis Fund Technologies. In the night, in the morning, used to think of how Friends Campus will be the next step. Then ये पूरी journey जो है actually बताने जाओ तो it's 6 years. So I don't want to take more time. But उसमें ऐसा था कि Eduis Fund, then Acadza, 2 companies we started. Friends Campus today is a 10-month-old startup. So last year in the April, I again joined full time on Friends Campus. Today the idea is different. Now how the restaurants say order online on Zomato, okay? The app developers, creators, companies say download our app from Google Play Store. Friends Campus is for the educators, for the local institute, coaching classes. They are going to write on their collaterals, inquire on Friends Campus. This is what the platform we are building. A single platform for educational tutors, educational institutes, and everyone who are going to say inquire on Friends Campus. This is the vision. So basically there are a lot of things that we can share. There is many of the part that you as a student can take from here. But one thing that is very important as an entrepreneur, if you want to be, is that nothing is planned, nothing is certain. Today what you are planning, maybe tomorrow you will feel that that was the wrong thing. But if you have that perseverance to keep going on, and you know where you want to reach. So one thing is that you will not get disbalance. So in the people who ride bike will know that पैर तभी नीचे रखने पड़ते हैं जब गाड़ी को रुका देते हो. अगर स्लो भी चलोगे ना तो मूव होते रहोगे. सो इट डजेंट मैटर स्पीड कितना है, बट अगर आगे बढ़ते रहना है तो गाड़ी को रुकाना नहीं है, चलते रहना है, चलते रहना है, चलते रहना है.
Hi guys. So it's already been pretty long since we all have been speaking, and I feel like everyone is kind of a little tired at this moment here. So I don't want to take up much time. I just want to go ahead and tell you how I started up. And I am actually younger than you. So I started up in 2017 after I graduated my engineering. And I've had the fortune to work with Vijay sir as well in one of his startups as a service provider. And really love all the stories that came from here. In fact, I was listening to the stories with a lot of interest. It was very, very interesting, all the stories that have been here. And one thing that I notice here is that all these entrepreneurs, they usually have very interesting stories, and a lot of them talk about these stories a lot. So I'll be briefly telling you about how I started up, when I started up, and how the journey has been. So I was in the electronics branch. I graduated in 2017. For the first 4 semesters of BESIT, I was not a very good student. I used to get like a 5-pointer or so. And in the 4th semester, Nagananda sir held a meeting for all the students in this very hall and said that if you don't have a 7-pointer by the end of the 8 semesters, you are likely to not get placed. And that was the turning point for me, where I thought that I think I'll have to take my studies a little more seriously. And so after that, I even took my studies very, very seriously and got more than an 8-pointer in the rest of the semesters. But then in the 4th semester, a lot of things changed for me, where there were startups like Ola, Uber, which were getting funded like crazy, like billions of dollar valuations, raising millions and millions of dollars. Like every day there was news, startup news, that this startup has raised $100 million, this startup has raised $250 million. And at that point in time, what we used to hear was that the logistics sector, which is the transport sector, it is riddled with a lot of problems. There are a lot of problems in the logistics sector, and a lot of funding was going to go into the logistics sector. That was what we had heard back then. So we were like, let's start something in the logistics sector. So me and my classmate, and this was a discussion we had after an exam that we had written, which we wrote very badly. We thought we were going to fail. So we were like, let's just discuss startup ideas so that placement na ho to at least startup ho jaye. And that was the vibe with which we were taking things back then. And because the logistics sector seemed interesting at that point of time, we started building a prototype when we were in college. So we went to a lot of teachers in our department and spoke to them about it. We basically asked them for people that they know in their network that are possibly logistics company owners or things like that. So we spoke to Abhay Shirsagar sir and a lot of different teachers in the electronics department. And they were very kind to guide us. Like, we did not attend many of the lectures of those teachers, but we did make it a point to kind of go into the staff room and speak to them and kind of get their guidance on how to start up. So, and every time we went to them, they always had a lot of good inputs to give us. So we created a minimum viable product, and basically we approached a lot of transporters. So the process was very simple. We knew that there were a lot of transporter shops in Bhandup and in those areas. So our idea was just to go there and talk to truck drivers, talk to these logistics company owners. And we did that. It was a very hard process where, like one of these panelists also mentioned, our college life is very, very clean. But when you go out on the street and when you go into these logistics companies and things like that, there are rats. It's dirty. Like, people are laborers and they are basically working very, very hard to make their living. It's a completely different scenario out there, which was an eye-opener for us. So we started talking to a lot of these people, and a few semesters passed by. We were in our last semester. We got placed, me and my partner, we got placed in Accenture. But we were going on with this project. So we were just taking time after college. We were sitting in these labs and coding in these labs. And so we had this one small software system that we had built up that we were pitching everywhere. And we were not successful in selling it anywhere. So everywhere we were listening that, yeah, this seems like a good idea. Complete it and come to us, and then maybe we'll give it a shot. And some of them, like most of the people that we spoke to, they outright told us that no, this is not something that we'll use. So that was the feedback that we gathered at the start. So in the last semester, we had, once we completed all our exams, we had some leave. Like there was some time before our results came back. And at that point of time, we had a lot of time to just go and speak to people in these. If you go and Google right now, what startup events are happening, are there any networking events that are happening around, you'll find at least 15 to 20 different events that are going to happen across the year. So we used to just go and attend these events and speak to people. And one approach that we changed was that instead of showing people our product, we asked the people what they would like from our product. And we just made it a point to hear the feedback from the customers and just tell them that we'll build it for them. So that was actually the start of our journey, where after we completed our exams in the final semester, we were able to talk to a few customers who were interested, and we built the product as they wanted it, and we sold it to them. So the deal there was that if we are successful enough in building the product, then you will pay us to use the product. And we were charging something very, very minor. Like for 2 companies or so, we were charging some 10,000 rupees a month. And it was 2 of us coding. So we had that one client. And then the next thing was to convince my parents that I'm not going to take up my job in Accenture and start my own venture. The thinking behind that was that I already have one client after college. So it's not going to be very hard to get a few more clients and make this successful. That was my thinking back then. It was actually very hard, and it was very, very difficult to get the next few clients around, because it is, as an engineer, we know how to build these products, but then selling those products, it's an entirely different game. So we started trying to sell the product, and it took us 2.5 years to have a small clientele of about 30 logistics companies using our software. So thereafter, we kind of realized that it is really, really hard to get scale in these sort of SaaS products, which are very, very customized. So we had an end-to-end ERP built, and it was getting very, very difficult to get scale up with these companies. Plus, there was a lot of competition as well. So at that point of time, we decided to take Revolo Infotech to a service-based company, and we approached a lot of different companies showing these software products that we had built up as our portfolio, and we started working with a lot of different finance companies, and now we are a company that help other companies build software products, build mobile applications, and market them to the market. So that is what we take a look at. We work with companies like Federal Bank, like Shapurji Palonji, and right now we are a team of 100 people. So we are across Mumbai, UK, and Dubai, and we basically work with a lot of these corporates to build their software systems, build their mobile applications, and also do digital marketing for them. So that's been our journey so far. So yeah, so now we could possibly take questions.
Yeah, I think no time for chit chat, guys. I think we'll take some questions. But one thing I wanted to make sure that you don't take away from the session, okay, is that you have to attend lectures. Each of these guys, including, I don't think I said this, but I used to attend my lectures, but each of them was saying we didn't attend lectures, we did something else. I think attending lectures is important. I know you have one very soon starting now. I think the time is up. But I wanted to just throw up this session for any questions that you have. I hope you have some questions in your mind.
Yes.
I know you're in your second year and there's a long way for your placements, but please go ahead and ask. And make sure these are very difficult questions. Huh?
First of all, thank you. That was a really great learning experience. I just wanted to ask to Mr. Shiv Kumar and everyone in general that I have this mini project of doing a travel app of Maharashtra tourism, and I really want it to, make it a business out of it or make a startup out of it. So what do you think, what should I do and what should I avoid? Because I am really Like I don't know nothing about these things. So I really want you to enlighten.
That's a great question. So for starters, you can start out by possibly building a small minimum viable product that you can possibly showcase to anyone that you speak to this about. So start thinking small. Maybe build a wireframe on Figma or something like that instead of actually coding everything out, so that it takes less time to build something. Because you're going to need to gather a lot of feedback. So when you talk about these ideas, it doesn't really come from a lot of research, because I've been in your shoes. We just think about ideas and we don't really put in a lot of research into thinking whether it is something that the market will accept, whether it is something the market needs. And honestly, it's very hard to research all those things. So build a minimum viable product that you can showcase and work on gathering a lot of feedback. So talk to as many people as you can in the relevant domain and look at relevant businesses along that domain. So you're looking to do something in the travel space. So there are travel agencies that do this as a business, right? So try and talk to a lot of different travel agencies, see how they operate, see how you can possibly digitize something like that, and take that as a starting point. And also pitch to investors, go into all these networking events, because at these events and at these pitch sessions, what happens is that you end up meeting a lot of interesting people. So network with those people. You might find a possible partner or your possible first client or something like that. So that is what you should be doing, in my opinion.
Thank you so much. That was really great.
Just to answer, one second, just to answer your question, right? What problem are you seeing currently at offline which you can solve it through your app? Have you identified that?
The thing is, in Maharashtra, there is not much places that got covered. Like, there are very places that isn't even listed in national or heritage sites. People don't visit those forts, and that are actually Maharashtrian culture, Maharashtrian tradition. There are various festivals in Maharashtra which actually doesn't get covered by various travel apps. So we want to beautify Maharashtra, to glorify Maharashtrian culture among India.
Have you tried to approach state government on that?
No,
by any chance?
We are still planning on it. We have tried to meet some alumni who are working on travel field, and we have done with the Figma, as Mr. Shiv Kumar said.
One of our distinguished alumni is the pioneer in this space called Niva Link. Niva Link was a travel portal that was started like way back when Make My Trip and all these guys were not there. He's an aggregator of this. Reach out to him. Niva Link. He's like one of the oldest ones. He's our alumni. So I think this applies for all of us. I think what was rightly suggested, you should reach out to, when you're building something, create an MVP, go to the customers, take feedback, and then approach the right kind of agencies. But you have access to a wealth of experience here, a wealth of knowledge and mentorship, which is your alumni. Okay, so if you just go to the alumni portal and search for people, you'll find it over there. But make sure that you leverage it thoroughly. So there are a lot of people from Wesset who have been in the travel industry, including this person, I'm forgetting his name, but sorry? Not Satyan. The founder of Satyan is the founder of Cube Wealth. He's Citrus Payment. But I'm forgetting his name. We had actually recognized him for one of the events. But search on the portal, you'll find him. A lot of such people.
Thank you so much, sir.
Any other questions?
Hello.
I know it's
Hello.
time up.
My question is to all of you, that you look too young and taking such a step that going out of the line without thinking of the family pressure or the money, which is a major one. How you take वो line कैसे आपने लिया? जैसे startup आपने खुद से किया, जो जब हम लोग 4 साल बाद graduate होंगे तो हमारे पीछे family pressure होता है, पैसे की होती है, बहुत मतलब problem होती है, और भी बहुत सारी चीज़ होते हैं. But आपने वो जो अलग line लिया, वो क्या temperament या फिर जो भी सोच कर क्या किया, वो आप बता सकते हो? क्योंकि सबने हाथ खड़ा किया था यहाँ, मगर 4 साल बाद सबके साथ कुछ तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम होगा. कुछ ही बच्चे उसमें से होते हैं. इवन आपके बैच में ही आप 4 या 3 बच्चे ही होंगे शायद स्टार्टअप के लिए, और सारे बच्चे लाइन में लग जाते हैं, वो जो नॉर्मल लगते हैं. तो आप बता सकते हो थोड़ा इसके ऊपर?
I'll hand it over to Minaj, but there are two parts to this answer. एक, whether you really want to do that way. See, there are always two ways to this world, right? एक ही अप्रोच है कि आप जॉब करो, आप फिर भी यू कैन क्रिएट योर प्रोडक्ट, यू कैन क्रिएट योर सर्विस एंड यू कैन फिगर आउट not immediately if a year down the line, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line that yes, you are ready to jump and start. So you can always build your cash pool for that, you know. Most of us are here bootstrap. Bootstrap का मतलब क्या होता है कि हमने अपना पैसा डाला है, right? I don't think we have raised investor money here, right? So हमने सबने जॉब किया या हमारा कोई बैकग्राउंड था या हमारे पास कोई इन्वेस्टर था, but that is one way of doing it. The other way is, yes, I mean, you rightly said, सबके ऊपर प्रेशर रहता है. I'm sure यहाँ पे भी प्रेशर था, but you need to find what is the right way to do it. It doesn't mean that आपको आज ही करना है. आपका आइडिया कोई ऐसा, if you are really, you have a phenomenal idea, nobody will take it away from you, right? Any other thoughts?
One thing that you mentioned in the question that 4 साल बाद, correct? 4 साल बाद हम जब graduate होंगे, तो this 4 years ना, ये 4 साल बहुत बड़े होते हैं. Like I think most of my learnings have been like ये पिछले जो मैंने 4 साल spend किए, उसमें सबसे ज़्यादा the most of the learnings came from those 4 years. So see, 4 years after you are going to graduate, and like sir rightly said that it is not कि आज ही start करना है या बाद में भी अगर करो तो you cannot manage with another job or kind of thing. But one thing is that whether you want to do it. If you want to do it, start today. Because this 4-year college duration, because see, job and college दोनों में एक difference ये है ना कि in college the things are little bit you can manage effectively because the teachers are supportive. In the job, the managers, you don't know how he would be, whether he is supportive, demanding, how he is. Okay. So in college, if you are doing something, your teachers, your the college, everyone will support you. So this 4 year is the chance to you that you search for it. So that जब 4 साल बाद वो time आए ना कि job लेना है या startup करना, you already have something. And then based on that, one, you will have a confidence कि यार ये कर सकता हूँ. Second, you will have that pointers to convince your parents कि मुझे ये करना है. So I think this is something which is important. This 4 years that you have, you should see it as a resource, as a privilege, and you should use these 4 years to get that confidence and the pointers to then actually take that leap to the startup. So this is what is,
Okay, so I want to double click on this one point. There was one alumni that I had back when I was a student that had started up. His name is Dhairya Pujara. He started this company called Y Center from this college again. So he used to say this one thing that you should start right now. You should be very proactive. If you have any idea, you should be very proactive and start right now, because once you guys graduate, you will see your friends go for their MS. You will see your friends doing their jobs and things like that. And they'll be putting up fancy posts on Instagram, and you're going to feel bad at that point of time if you're just going to start then. Like, if you start after your college, it's going to take a few years for you to set up your business, to set up what you want to do, to figure out revenue models and things like that. And you will feel like you're running behind your friends, and that won't be a good feeling back at that time. So if you can start now, you should start now. If you have financial responsibilities at home, you should contribute towards those responsibilities for sure and work around those responsibilities. So you can always get creative with how you work. And as many people already said, you can work in the morning, you can work at night while doing a job as well. And it has to be the right decision for you. So everyone comes from a different place. Some people have some financial responsibilities at home, some people don't. So if you are using it as a reason for procrastinating, if you feel like you want to start up but you're using this excuse of family pressure, then you need to be truthful to yourself and get started at that point of time. My thinking behind it was that if I take up a job and if I get used to receiving a regular paycheck, then I'm going to like it too much to actually leave that and start up and have this whole tension of how I'll make money and things like that. So I wanted to do it before I got used to receiving regular paychecks. And I've never received like an official paycheck from a company or anything like that. It's all been money that I've made through my startup. So that is something that you should consider.
I'll interrupt everyone. we are having a hard stop for most of the panelists also. So because they are also supposed to leave, and of course, I'll actually put it this way. I have all of them on my WhatsApp. You can forward your questions to us. I'll forward to them. Most likely they'll answer, and I'll forward it back to you. And in case this is really interesting, I'll directly connect. So that will work the best in the best favor of the current time, right? Thank you. As a senior, I'm also alumni, by the way. As a senior, I would also say that canteen will be more free at 1:15 than 12:30. So please wait little more. I'll give you attendance for next lecture also. Makes sense, right? Now we can talk. Now we can talk. Maybe now we can talk. I'll seek some permission from this side if we can continue this. Guys, can we continue for next 30, 40? Okay. Sirs, can we continue for next 30, 45 minutes? Now it is happening, so let's just, I'm taking the privilege of being the in charge. Both the sides, great going. Let's continue. So more questions, please, now.
Hello. So first of all, great session, sir. Question for Shivakumar, sir. Sir, so your company does IT outsourcing. So during the prototype stage, what was the USP, basically the unique selling proposition? Was it the technology based or something abstract, work ethic, efficiency, and how important it is?
So usually when it comes to these tech products, this is not an answer that engineers would like to hear, but it is never usually the technology that is the selling point for a customer. It is always the business aspect of things and the benefits that you can provide to the customer. So it takes a lot of understanding of what your customer actually wants. You need to actually sit with your customer, and your customer most likely will tell you that I want a product like this particular competitor, and he will ask you to build it at a cheaper price. So that is where things usually start from. And
building a personal connection with the client.
So you have to talk to a lot of different clients and see which ones are going to talk to you and which ones are going to give you their time. Because not every company that you approach is going to tell you yes. I used to do thousands of calls. I'm not joking about this. I used to call thousands of people from the yellow pages, thousands of transporters for their time. And out of 250, one person used to give me their time. Those were the numbers. So you have to kind of be very, very stubborn when it comes to actually going ahead and implementing your product. And it is a hard journey, but then it is also very, very fun.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My question is, to build any business, you should have at least someone who needs that, there should be need for product. So, and the price should be minimal. So how does a business is differentiated from an NGO, as the goal of both of them is to provide any service to the customer. So how should we maximize our profits, and yet it should be price minimal to the customer? And what should be the approach for it?
See, at one point of time, anything will take your service when it is time efficient or money efficient. अगर तुम किसी का time बचा सकते हो और किसी का पैसा बचा सकते हो, these in two only scenarios, right? Somebody will come and approach you. Nobody is interested. तुमने Python में किया है, SAS में किया है, yeah? Any other technology, because they are not that technical people. From the quality per se, it may be a part, but from the basic point is that the customer, the client, they want minimum amount investment and maximum returns. And if you are able to save the time, like Ola, Uber, right? Today, if you see, right, why people are going for Ola, Uber, why they are not taking any, because it's a comfortable journey, and to an extent it saves the time, right? Point number one. Second, you see there is a lot of traffic going towards the flight. Why? It saves the time, right? So that these two has to be in proportion. And
just a small thing to add on. See, this point pricing game. See, if you see Zomato में अगर कोई चीज़ 50 रुपीस की है तो Swiggy gives it at 40 रुपीस. तो क्या होता है पूरे टाइम प्राइस वॉर ही होता रहता है. You can never win in price war. एंड में क्या हो जाएगा ना, हर सेक्टर में फ्यूल सी 2 कंपनीज ही बच जाती है, ओला, उबर, स्विगी, जोमेटो. सो जितने भी मैं अभी स्टार्टअप्स में कॉलेज में जाके देखता हूँ, तो एवरी वन इज थिंकिंग सर मेरा प्राइस सबसे लोएस्ट कैसा हो सकता है. ये दिस इज अ बैड माइंड सेट. अगर तुम प्राइस लोएस्ट से खेलोगे तो एक प्रॉफिटेबल बनोगे ही नहीं. वट हैपेंस इज, एज वन मोर क्वेश्चन वॉज रेस्ड, अभी क्या होने वाला है, इफ यू ऑल सी क्लोजली, सब कुछ आउटसोर्स होने वाला है इन इंडिया. सो देयर इज अ कंपनी कॉल्ड कैपग्रिड, सुना है किसी ने? इट्स अ नोएडा बेस्ड कंपनी, उसमें मैंने अभी जस्ट इन्वेस्ट किया है. व्हाट दे आर डूइंग इज, तुम्हारा जितना भी लॉजिस्टिक्स और सप्लाई चेन है, इफ यू ऑल हैव वेंडर्स किसी भी चीज़ का, और तुम्हें लॉजिस्टिकली अपना सामान सबको वेंडर सिलेक्ट करना है, वेंडर्स क्या जाना है प्राइसिंग के लिए, फिर सामान अपने वेयर हाउस में मंगाना है ना, एवरीथिंग विल बी डन बाय कैपग्रिड. ठीक है. आई एम नॉट अ, मेरे लाइटिंग में सर्किट होता है ना, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सर्किट होता है, कैपेसिटर, ये सब मेरे को कुछ नहीं आता है भाई. कैपेसिटर थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आता है. फिर मैंने अभी 100 करोड़ के ऊपर ही कंपनी लाइटिंग में बना दी है. उसमें होता क्या है, आई कैन हायर अ पर्सन जो मुझे ये करके दे सकता है. लॉजिस्टिक्स एंड सप्लाई चेन इज टेकन केयर ऑफ. खाली नेक्स्ट व्हाट विल हैपन इन इंडिया इज यू मस्ट हैव योर मार्केटिंग वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. अभी खाली रीच विद द क्लाइंट इज द ओनली इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट. हाँ, प्राइसिंग थोड़ा बहुत रहना पड़ेगा. इफ द प्राइसिंग इज अराउंड 100 रुपीज इन द मार्केट, आपका 95 या 105 के बीच में होना चाहिए, प्लस माइनस 5%. देन दैट पर्सनल रिलेशन ओनली विल बी देयर. अभी के लिए कोई भी कंपनी आपका क्लाइंटेल आउटसोर्स नहीं करेगा. यू विल गिव योर क्लाइंट टू एनीवन, नो वन विल गिव द क्लाइंट. तो आगे आगे जाके क्या होने वाला है, एवरीथिंग विल बी आउटसोर्स. द ओनली मेजर पॉइंट विल बी योर क्लाइंट. So work on the marketing part. Obviously technical part थोड़ा बहुत तो पता होना ही चाहिए, but for that you can hire people in all the sectors, but you can't hire because marketing is a skill. Marketing is a skill, it cannot be taught. तुम लोग को इंजीनियरिंग सब पढ़ा सकते हैं, कैसे सर्किट बनाना है, फिनेंस का पूरा पढ़ा सकते हैं, बट कैसा बेचना है कोई नहीं पढ़ा सकता. तो लुक एट द क्लाइंटेल पार्ट ऑफ बिजनेस, नॉट द बैक एंड पार्ट ऑफ बिजनेस.
I think the point said here, like marketing is a skill, technology can be hired. It's a very, very important point, because most of the time what we think is कि सब हमें करना है. It's when you are choosing entrepreneurship, it is not you, it is we. So what you have to do is that get the people around you who can do the job that you are looking to do, and you have to be the supporter there. You have to be the enabler who can support this thing. Now, getting to the clients, like how I start, I'll give you one example. I sure you all must be knowing that company also. Oyo Rooms is there, Ritesh Agarwal, founder. So how he started was he selected one hotel in Gurgaon, Noida, okay, and then he gave the best to make sure that that hotel reaches 100% occupancy, okay. And when it happened, वो word of mouth फैलने लगा to the nearby hotels that there is someone known as Ritesh Agarwal, कुछ ओयो वगैरह बनाया है, और उस होटल की occupancy rate जो है वो 100% हो गई है. Then the hotelier started reaching to him कि हमें भी करना है, क्या कर रहे हो. So once you can get one customer, you are actually solving real problems. By the way, before this, getting one Oyo Rooms and getting this one hotel, he actually spent a lot of nights at different hotels to understand that what is the problem. So बहुत सारे YouTube videos है उससे related, you can just go and watch, और वो understand कर पाओगे कि how he has built up. तो एक बार जब one customer मिल जाता है ना, and you have found that is what we called as MVP. You have found that ये problem है, this is the right solution. Now you just need to scale it. तो 1 से 10, 10 से 100, 100 से 1000 multiply होता जाएगा. तो in the start it is kind of slow. Again that bike example कि start में ही speed दोगे तो will ही हो जाएगा, है ना. Start में you have to pick up very slow. You have to understand the market. You have to understand कि जो तुम solve कर रहे हो whether वो सच में एक problem है या बस हमने कुछ create किया और हम बेचना चाह रहे हैं. And then once you do this for that first client, you can do it for 10th.
I'll again interrupt. We will not have any more questions. Rather, I'll put for the question in front of all of you. Do you know all your questions can be answered by one body in Vesit? That body is? Not human body. I'm pitching myself as in Vesit E-Cell. So I don't know how many of you are well aware of our existence. Maybe you are freshers mostly. वैसे टी-सेल के पास सारे क्वेश्चन लेके आइए, either will answer well or will take you to the right person. ठीक है? So I think that with that we can take a pause on the questions right now. I'd like Principal Madam to please come on the stage and felicitate our guests here one by one. And with that, I'd like them to proceed back for lunch. It's very important. Lunchtime it is. And guys, please stay back. We'll have to have few, ma'am, please. You have to do some selfies for your attendance. And a few announcements post our guests have left. I'll be taking 5 more minutes of yours. That's it. Thank you so much. So please have a big round of applause for all our guests one by one. Vijay sir. Rahul ji. Prateek. Minhaz. And Shiv. I'd request volunteers to please take our guests to the boardroom. Thank you so much. Can I have my PPT running quickly? Remove these chairs. I'm very informal person. By the way, पता समझ में नहीं आ रहेगा तो बता दूं मैं टीचर भी हूँ by the way. कभी पढ़ाऊंगा तो और अच्छा लगेगा आपको. Can we have it removed? Can I have a question which is like just to save your time? There is a question on the screen. Try answering that. We are in last 3-4 minutes, not more than that for sure. I'm going to introduce one very important thing and then your attendance. You have your phones, right? Smartphones? लगेगा attendance के लिए. We also have cracked down efficient attendance taking, I guess. We're going to copyright it. चलिए. So how do you do this? So I don't know if you have heard of this fellow, Desmond Tutu. There is only one way to eat an elephant. And that is? So if you are looking to be a Mukesh Ambani or Adani of future, it's one bite at a time. Don't be in hush. Very simply put. I myself is an entrepreneur. Could not say in front of the principal, so I did not say that. Multiple, in fact, not one. Moving ahead. We are going to introduce Startup Bootcamp. In case you are looking to be an entrepreneur down the line, how best it can help. The first thing which I found is probably you do not know how to do it. You just have a very rough, remote idea. So we can take you there. That's eSell's job, and we are trying to do our job. So don't think we are doing any great thing. It's our duty to do that. So step one is you will have to come up and pitch your ideas to us. Next. Following this, what we will do is, we'll periodically assign you some task. You will have to do it. We'll not do it for you, obviously, right? But you will see, it will be guided. Guided meditation का word सुना रहेगा ना? Like, if you are not able to meditate by yourself, you can do a guided meditation. So कोई आपको बताता है कैसे करो, फिर हो जाता है. वैसे ही अगर आपको startup करना है, नहीं हो पा रहा है, या entrepreneurship करना है, नहीं हो पा रहा है, तो probably guided one will give it a better chance. Guarantee नहीं है, but chances are, odds are increased, right? Moving ahead, so these tasks would sound obvious and simple, but they'll be very crucial in your startup, and they'll slowly and gradually take you towards it. Next. So you will be provided with working insights of real startups. I am in loop with many of them, and maybe you know that we have a rich pool of alumni who are doing great. So जिससे भी चाहिए उसे connection करवा के देंगे, और हमें खुद पता रहेगा तो हम खुद answer दे देंगे, and probably you can take it from there, right? Next. For example, task 1 could be as simple as find out a suitable company name. People think of an idea, but they don't give any further attention to the specifics. How good your company name should be. Like, कुछ भी तो नहीं चलेगा ना. You have to think of, start taking efforts. When you are pitching your idea, give me one company name and a domain name which is available. The toughest thing is that, maybe, like if you're looking for a domain name, it's tougher than finding an ID you're looking on Instagram or Google. Domain name is even more in competition. So domain name bilkul nahi milta hai, right? Because you can't have something at the rate 1985, 95, wo sab udhar nahi chalta. Domain name has to be very simple, short, elegant and efficient, right? So thinking of an efficient domain name will be tough, but you have to do that. It's your duty. Maybe we'll help, and I'm good at, like, with presence of mind, I can probably help you over there, but yeah, we'll see. Next, it will be depending on what you are coming up with. Maybe I'll ask you to do the wireframing of it. Maybe you'll ask to be building a team, or maybe you'll be asked to do a survey, or you'll be asked to do, like, start chalking out your logo, right? Start doing a jingle of yours, maybe. Maybe if it is really interesting, I'll also ask you to first do a copyright or a patent. Depends on what you're doing. If your POC is good, maybe you will be first doing a patent or copyright, and then you will take it further from there. That's it. I'm not really going to take too much of your time. Next. Yeah, so we'll do this bootcamp. You register, we'll circulate Google Forms, you register yourself, and probably we'll take it from there. And yeah, now the most important thing. Next. And again, yeah. Just to make it not human level, so what you'll need to do is this. You can share it with your anybody, whoever and wherever it is, but next step is not possible. So what you will do next is, you will, there is the next slide to this. You will have to, in that Google form itself, upload a selfie showing that slide in the auditorium. Right? So with this, take a selfie before you leave. Come here, take a selfie with this, hashtag, connect us on Insta, tag us over there, right? And do this, and Google form में वो selfie upload करना, नहीं तो attendance नहीं मिलेगा. Yeah, now we'll do back and forth. I'm signing off. Thank you so much. You have been great here. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
गाइस सबका स्कैन करके हो गया क्या? बताओ, फिर नेक्स्ट स्लाइड हम लोग सेल्फी के लिए निकाल लेंगे. पहले स्कैन करके हुआ तो लाइक किसका नहीं हुआ, हाथ उठा लो फटफट. Sure, we'll give 2 minutes. डन सबका? किसी का बच्चा है स्कैन करना? डन? ओके, सब लोग सेल्फी ले सकते हो अभी. के ले लो, कैसे भी ले लो, बट ये दिखना चाहिए एट द बैकग्राउंड.
Guys. A couple of new classes haven't been added on the Google form, जैसे D5C या जो भी है. तो वो टाइम पे D5 कर लो, we can sort that out later, okay?
तेरे को स्कैन करके दे देना हम लोग अभी के लिए वो रहना तू बस सेल्फी ले एक सेकंड किसका किसका स्कैन करना बचा था हो गया ले लो अरे फिर से चेंज तुम्ही केलं हाँ स्ट्रीमिंग एंड करा मैं विसरलो स्ट्रीम बदल